Have you ever felt lonely? Maybe after a long day, when all you wanted was a moment to yourself, away from the noise, away from your responsibilities. Those days when responsibilities pile up and the weight of everyday life seems to crush us, while the only thing you really want is to get away from it all for a moment, find a quiet place to think and simply be. Well, this is more common than you might think. All of us, at some point, long for that respite. But the question is being alone a bad thing? I used to think so. After all, who likes being without company, right? For many years, we have lived in a culture that associates loneliness with a kind of social failure, as if being alone were a sign that we are not loved, desired, or important. The fear of being alone is something deeply rooted in our society. Films, music, books, and even social media constantly show us that happiness lies in being surrounded by people, in being part of a group, and being accompanied all the time. But is this really true? Isn't there something incredibly valuable about being alone? I remember one day when everything seemed to be going wrong. You know those days when everything just wears you out? I woke up feeling exhausted, like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. Every little problem seemed bigger than it really was. I had arguments at work, the pressure of responsibilities piled up, and eventually I felt completely worn out. That was the day I decided to do something different. Instead of seeking solace in the company of others or trying to distract myself with some entertainment, I went for a walk, aimlessly, just to think for a while. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but something inside me told me that I needed that moment of solitude. As I walked, observing the sky, the trees, the people around me, something began to change inside me. Little by little, I realized that being alone was not something negative, as I had thought for so long. In fact, it was an incredible opportunity for growth, reflection, and connection with myself. It was a moment of pure freedom, where I didn't have to worry about other people's expectations or what was going on around me. In that moment, it was just me and my thoughts, and that brought me a deep peace. Solitude suddenly revealed itself to be a gift, something precious that I should cherish, not avoid. In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 incredible benefits of solitude that can transform your life. Stay with me until the end, because I'm sure you'll see being alone in a completely different way. Maybe, like me, you're afraid of being alone, or maybe you've never stopped to reflect on the true power of solitude. But I guarantee you, by the end of this journey, you'll be looking at the idea of being alone with new eyes. When we talk about solitude, the first thing that comes to mind for many people is the idea of loneliness. And who likes to be alone, right? But wait a minute. Let's make an important distinction here. Solitude is very different from loneliness. Loneliness is that feeling of emptiness, of disconnection from the world, of emotional isolation. Loneliness brings a feeling of abandonment, of lack of purpose, and is often accompanied by sadness and anguish. It is a state of mind where we feel the absence of something or someone who should be there to fill a space in our lives. But solitude, on the other hand, is a conscious choice. It is the moment when you decide to be alone, not because you have been abandoned or isolated, but because you want to connect with something even more important, yourself. And this choice can be one of the most transformative you have ever made in your life. Solitude gives us the opportunity to create an internal space, a refuge, where we can truly listen to our thoughts and feelings. In the modern world, we are constantly surrounded by stimuli, be it the incessant noise of cities, social media notifications, social commitments, or professional expectations. We rarely have the chance to be alone, and even rarer is to be in silence. But it is in this silence that we can find answers. Answers that we often cannot hear in the noise of everyday life. The first benefit of solitude is the development of self-knowledge. Have you ever wondered who you really are? What are your deepest dreams, your fears, your motivations? Oftentimes, we are so immersed in the expectations of others that we forget to ask ourselves these questions. When we are alone, we have the chance to look within and begin to understand what we truly feel and desire. I remember one day when I sat on a park bench, with no distractions around me, and simply began to pay attention to my own feelings, thoughts. It was at that moment that I realized how many of my fears were actually constructs of my own mind. When you are alone, without the distractions of the external world, you can clearly see what really moves you and what needs to be worked on within yourself. This process of introspection is something that cannot be underestimated. Solitude offers us the opportunity to understand who we are on a deeper level, without the layers of social expectations and external pressures. It is as if we are peeling back the layers of an onion, getting closer and closer to our true selves. This process can be challenging, as we sometimes come across aspects of ourselves that we would rather ignore. But it is precisely in this confrontation with our fears, insecurities, and desires that true personal growth lies. Solitude invites us to embark on an internal journey of self-discovery, where we can reconnect with our essence and redefine the path we want to follow. Secondly, being alone offers us a powerful opportunity to reduce stress. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by all the demands of modern life? Between work, family, friends, social media, and other obligations, our minds are constantly on alert, processing a multitude of information and stimuli. This constant state of alert is undoubtedly exhausting, and if we don't take care of ourselves, it can lead to problems such as anxiety, insomnia, and even emotional burnout. Being surrounded by people all the time can be very draining, even if they are people we love and appreciate. Our minds need moments of silence, moments when we can disconnect from the outside world and simply relax. When you give yourself the chance to be alone, even for a few moments, it's like hitting the pause button and recharging your batteries. Imagine a child who runs around all day and, at the end, needs to stop to rest. We need that rest too. Solitude helps us breathe, relax, and feel calmer. Studies show that moments of solitude, when used consciously, can have profoundly beneficial effects on our psychological well-being. Our mind, like our body, needs moments of recovery, and these moments of pause are essential to maintain our mental and emotional balance. But solitude doesn't just help us reduce stress. It also has a significant impact on our creativity. The third benefit is that it increases our creativity. Have you ever noticed that great ideas usually come to us when we are alone? Think about the times when you had a brilliant idea while taking a bath or during a quiet walk. This is no coincidence. When the mind is not bombarded with distractions and you can immerse yourself in your reflections, it has the freedom to explore new connections and possibilities. I remember one day when, with nothing to do, I started drawing. Without pressure, without external interference, and I soon realized that my creativity flowed naturally. When we are in solitude, we give our mind space to explore new possibilities, create new solutions, and see the world in a different way. This happens because, in moments of solitude, our brain has the opportunity to process information more deeply. It can make connections that often go unnoticed when we are surrounded by constant stimuli. The absence of distractions allows our minds to wander, and it is in this state of wandering that we often find solutions to problems that seemed unsolvable. The silence of solitude is the fertile ground where the seeds of creativity can flourish. Now, the fourth benefit that solitude provides us is increased concentration. Have you ever tried to study or work in an environment full of people talking or noises around you? It's difficult, right? When we are alone, distractions decrease, and our minds can better focus on the activities we need to perform. Whether it's reading a book, learning something new, or simply solving everyday problems, being alone allows us to truly immerse ourselves in the tasks at hand, which greatly improves the quality of what we do. Without interruptions, we can dedicate ourselves entirely to what is important. Solitude offers us a mental clarity that is difficult to achieve in chaotic environments. When we are alone, we have the opportunity to focus deeply on a task without being interrupted by external stimuli. This allows us to reach a state of flow, where we are completely immersed in what we are doing. This state of deep concentration not only improves our efficiency, but also gives us a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, as we are able to produce quality results. In addition, solitude gives us the chance to be ourselves. This is fifth benefit, the freedom to express who we are without judgment. Often, when we are in society, we adapt to what others expect of us. Whether at work, with friends or family, there is a subtle, or sometimes explicit, social pressure to behave in certain ways. We are constantly shaping our attitudes and reactions to fit into certain standards. However, when we are alone, this pressure disappears. We can be who we really are, without fear of judgment, without fear of appearing inadequate. In this state of solitude, we are free to explore our true personalities. We can sing that song we love out loud, dance without fear of being ridiculous, or simply think and act according to our own desires. This strengthens our emotional well-being because, in that moment, we are 100% authentic. And this authenticity is essential for our personal growth. When we learn to accept ourselves and enjoy our own company, we also begin to value our individuality more. Solitude allows us to look within and recognize our uniqueness, something that is often stifled by social expectations. The sixth benefit, which may seem like a paradox to some, is that solitude can improve our relationships. Yes, contrary to what many people think, spending time alone can actually strengthen our connections with other people. How is this possible? When we spend time in solitude, we learn to value our own company more, which makes us less dependent on external validation. When we are not desperately seeking someone to make us feel complete, we begin to relate to others in a more authentic and balanced way. In addition, solitude gives us time to reflect on our relationships. How many times, in the midst of the hustle and bustle of life, do we find ourselves in relationships that are not good for us, but we continue in them out of habit or fear of being alone? Solitude allows us to pause and analyze more clearly which relationships truly bring us joy and which ones drain us. With this awareness, we can make healthier choices in our interactions. When we are at peace with ourselves, we are able to be more genuinely present in relationships, making them more authentic and meaningful. Another important point that many do not consider is the direct impact that solitude has on our mental health. This is the seventh benefit, strengthening our mind. In the frenetic pace of everyday life, our mind can become a real battlefield, constantly bombarded by worries, doubts, and an avalanche of information. When we are alone, we have the opportunity to organize these thoughts, process emotions, and deal with anxieties more effectively. Studies indicate that regular solitude can reduce stress and anxiety levels, providing a sense of inner peace. Solitude works as a kind of meditation, where we disconnect from external demands and turn our attention to what really matters. In a world that demands so much of us, this moment of introspection is essential to maintain emotional balance. During these moments, we are able to process traumas, understand behavior patterns, and even develop more effective strategies to face life's challenges. By spending time alone, we are creating space for true mental renewal. The eighth benefit of solitude is emotional independence. When we learn to feel comfortable in our own company, we develop an inner strength that makes us less dependent on external approval and validation. Many people spend their lives seeking happiness and fulfillment of an inner void in others. This can lead us to codependent relationships and harmful behavior patterns. But when we experience solitude, we realize that we are capable of being happy on our own, without needing someone else to complete us. This emotional independence is liberating. Knowing that you are enough and that you can find joy in your own company transforms the way you relate to others and the world. When you are whole, you do not seek in others what you lack, but rather a genuine exchange of experiences and feelings. You become a complete individual, ready to share, and not someone who depends on others to feel good. In addition, solitude becomes a great ally when we need to make important decisions. This is the ninth benefit. Making decisions can be complicated, especially when we are surrounded by other people's opinions and expectations. External noise can drown out our own inner voice, causing our choices to be influenced by what others want for us, rather than by what we truly desire. But when we are alone, in solitude, we have the opportunity to reflect deeply on our choices. The clarity that solitude provides us is essential for making decisions that are more aligned with our values and desires. Without external distractions, we can analyze each situation calmly and thoughtfully, ensuring that our choices reflect who we really are. Being alone gives us the emotional distance we need to evaluate things more objectively. Have you ever tried making an important decision right after a moment of solitude? The feeling of clarity and certainty that comes from it is unparalleled. And finally, the 10th benefit of solitude is the renewal of our energy. Just as a battery needs to be recharged to function well, we also need moments of pause to revitalize ourselves. Solitude is like a refuge, a moment in which we can reconnect with ourselves, reinvigorate ourselves, and prepare ourselves for the challenges that lie ahead. At the end of some time alone, we feel renewed, ready to face the world with more energy and determination. It is a time to recharge, where we feel whole again and ready to face whatever comes our way. This renewal of energy prepares us to deal with life's challenges in a much more balanced and healthy way. By allowing our mind and body to rest, we are strengthening our resilience and our ability to face adversity with calm and clarity. It is no wonder that many cultures and spiritual traditions value moments of solitude so much as essential practices for well-being and personal growth. So, what did you think of these benefits of solitude? Who would have thought that being alone could be so powerful, right? I hope this video has helped you see solitude in a new way and that, from now on, you will start to take advantage of these moments as an opportunity for personal growth, self-knowledge, and renewal. This journey of self-knowledge is just beginning. Take advantage of the insights we discussed today and continue exploring the transformative power of solitude. See you in the next video, where we will delve even deeper into these topics and discover new paths for your personal growth together. Until then, remember, your best company will always be yourself. And don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone you think could benefit from this message, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. Let's go on this journey together.